dreaming?
You're actually in the middle of the workshop right now, sleeping. This is your first lesson in training.
This right here makes us strong. Let's understand who we are as a team. Let's understand who we are as men. We got the opportunity to keep going, man. Let's be strong as a team, man. Let's be who we are.
Greetings and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the round table. Tonight is Tuesday, December the 23rd. Bonsoir, comment ça va? December the 23rd, 2025, 2 days before the celebration of Christmas. For those of us that do celebrate Christmas, bonsoir, comment ça va? I am Joy, and welcome to week 16 of the round table, week 16 of the college football playoff. First opening weekend. And man, when I tell you, we have had some phenomenal football happening this past weekend. This was quite possibly the best weekend of the entire football season for the National Football League. And of course, when the college football playoffs kick off, then of course it's going to be a great weekend. Jordan, I got to give you a quick shout out, even though I want to give a hearty welcome to all of the roundtable audience that are joining us tonight, whether you're joining us from TikTok, whether you're joining us from Facebook Live, or whether you're joining us from YouTube. Thank you for joining us and spending a little bit of time on your Tuesday evening with myself and Chris as we discuss these games. We must apologize for having some technical difficulties at the top of the show. A couple of minutes late, but we'll make it up, as you know we always do with the engaging conversation. Shout out to Lyman Up Media. You opened up with Ray Lewis, of all people. It would automatically put me in the frame of mind of having the heart of a champion. And what does the heart of a champion, where does it come from? And we'll talk about specifically those Baltimore Ravens and their hearts and their minds later on in the show. Griff, how are we doing on this chipper Tuesday evening for you, good sir?
Hey man, feeling good, man. Still here with the family. Had a chance to spend some time with some of my classmates this weekend. Went to one of my classmates as a pastor service, man. Got a chance to watch some excellent football this weekend. My squad still rolling. Uh, hey man, and was looking forward to getting on here and having a conversation after the win, because I thought I was going to be in the witness protection program because I didn't want to come in here and talk football after the displays of both of my teams this weekend. But the one that we need to talk about made it through. So man, hey, glad to be here,
Yeah.
and good evening to the roundtable family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Last we met on Friday, it wasn't looking too good for the Alabama Crimson Tide. We're going to talk about them a little later. But we said on Friday night that the Thursday night game between the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks was not only quite possibly the NFL Thursday night game of the year, but most likely the NFL game of the year. And I flippantly said, well, if any team this weekend wants to top that, here's your shot. Chicago Bears and Green Bay Packers were up next, and both of them decided to say, well, we may not put enough points on the board to go pound for pound with those two teams, but we collectively can say, hold my beer. This game was for the NFC North lead, most likely the division title if you were to win out. So both of these teams came into this game understanding that everything was riding on the line, or everything was on the line. And Caleb Williams, this was his opportunity to reintroduce himself on the national stage, giving him the opportunity to lead his team to a division lead and most likely a division title, as I mentioned. Playing against the beast in the NFC North, you had to go through Green Bay, at least this year, since Detroit has regressed. Minnesota has regressed from last year's performances. And Green Bay was that Goliath standing in their way. They lost 2 weeks ago to Green Bay in Green Bay, a smidget. And this was that opportunity for Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, the swift run game, the Chicago defense that is opportunistic, take advantage of possibly a turnover here or there to give them that chance to steal this game. Well, Griff, we both picked Chicago to win this game in a close game. We both said it was going to go down to the wire. But how surprised are you now at Mr. Caleb Williams? And has he proven finally in week 15 or 16 to you that he can lead his Chicago Bears? I won't say to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to put it all out there. But to, at a minimum, a playoff win in his first appearance.
I think if the defense keep on playing the way it's playing, I mean, again, Caleb has some moments in this game where his legs. I saw the Caleb that I seen at Oklahoma. I seen the Caleb that I seen at USC. But he really didn't show up for me until the fourth quarter. Throughout this whole game, I would tell you the quarterback that actually looked better to me, and it was shocking, was Malik Willis, man. I mean, the Green Bay actually looked a whole lot better with Malik than they did with Jordan Love for whatever reason. But can he go and take his team? Hey, he lead the division right now. Can they win a playoff game? I think they can. But the defense and the running game has to continue to do what they've been doing, because that's what really got this team where they at right now. They running game and the defense.
Running game and the defense, okay? And just looking at how these two teams are coming out of this game. All right, Jordan Love is in the concussion protocol. We don't know whether or not he's going to play this weekend. He played the Cowboys this weekend, do you not? No, he don't play the Cowboys. He plays somebody else.
No, not the Cowboys. Cowboys got two soft games the rest of the way. They should lose both of them, though.
Yeah, we won't make mention of them later. But for the Green Bay Packers and how they move forward, it is going to be rely heavily on the run game. I understand that Malik Willis played outside of his mind last Sunday because, yeah, you are absolutely right. He was the best quarterback on the field throughout the duration of the game at the time that he was on there after Jordan Love got injured. It was just that Chicago, that opportunistic defense, and Ben Johnson's confidence in Caleb Williams, the evolution of Caleb Williams, as one would say, from year one to year two, where you got glimpses of what Gris said he saw as an 18-year-old starting quarterback at the University of Oklahoma that led him to be the Heisman Trophy winner in his freshman year. If you saw glimpses of that against a legitimate Green Bay defense where all of the chips are in, everything is on the line. And he came up with, I don't care what anyone says, the throw of the entire year because of the gravity of the throw, the timing of the throw, the preciseness of the throw, and the calmness that the quarterback displayed during the execution of that play. That is the play of the year because it was an overtime, come from behind, game-winning, Hail Mary type of a throw, deep post to the out, and Caleb led more perfectly. Did not break stride. He was covered perfectly. Defense couldn't have played that coverage any better. That was the play to elevate the Chicago Bears to the not only possibility, the probability of them winning at least one playoff game and possibly making it to the NFC title game. Now, where that NFC title game is, we'll talk about that in the weeks to come. Don't want to get ahead of myself, but I tell you, Caleb Williams, the numbers don't show it, but the confidence is there. The calmness is there now, where we saw him scrambling for his life last year and making errant throws. He's calmly scrambling this year and either running or having pinpoint dimes at key sideline positions to get first downs, extend drives, or scoring opportunities. I'm super proud of Caleb. Still not starting you in my fantasy league, but the Chicago Bears earned this win.
Look, man, Green Bay, again, 0 for 5 in the red zone. You can't win games when you 0 for 5 in the red zone. Kicking field goals keep the opposing team in the game. That's why Chicago was still around, because you're kicking field goals. And this is what happens.
Now, did Green Bay lose this game or did Chicago win this game?
I would say Green Bay lost this game.
Really?
I hear you. I hear that dart, but I need to see that the whole game. You want to impress me? Show me this the whole game. My thing is, you keep on living by these last minute wins. Guess what happened eventually? It catches
It
up with you.
runs out.
Caleb is not consistent for me.
But it builds character. And those close wins, those close wins translate into confidence that we are down at any point. We believe we can come back. And we all know it's all about mentality over everything else. The Bears are heading in the right direction. Ben Johnson is one of the top two considerations for Coach of the Year. It is between him. Huh?
He should get it.
Him or the Jacksonville Jaguars coach, depending on how their teams end the season and how they set themselves up for playoffs. Speaking about those Jacksonville Jaguars, Duval County, bruh, Goldilocks, Sunshine, whatever nickname that you want to give him, Trevor Lawrence is on it this year. Trevor Lawrence is stepping through that door. Trevor Lawrence is evolving into that superstar quarterback that everyone projected that he was going to be when he attended Clemson and went on a 20-1, 30-1 record during his time in college. That one loss coming to those Tigers from LSU in the 2019 National Championship game. But he is finally stepping into those shoes that we all envisioned that he was going to be able to do. This was a game that we could have all said that, prove it to me. But we didn't believe that the Jaguars, even though that they are a 10-win team, didn't believe that they could go into Denver and beat a Sean Payton-led defense that is a top 5 ranked defense across the league, playing at home, have proven that they are the best team in the AFC, going on a 10-game or 11-game winning streak. No one expected Trevor Lawrence and the simmering Jaguars to come into town and knock off the overall number 1 seed. But not only did they beat Denver, they beat Denver down easily. How surprised are you at Denver's lack of home defense, or how impressed are you with the Jaguars' offense?
Hey, man, I would tell you, man, I was shocked. I seen a Denver Broncos defense that just did not look like the defense that's been playing all year. They missed a lot of tackles. Don't want to take nothing from Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence ran the ball at times to keep drives going and his receivers, but it was many missed tackles in this game that just did not look like a Denver Broncos defense. And then turnovers, man. Turnovers at crucial times in this game were hurt that hurt them, because you look at the numbers, man. Bo Nix outperformed Trevor Lawrence in this game. But turnovers, you got an interception at a time that you didn't need to have one, and then you had a fumble at a time that you didn't need to have one. I think this was a good loss, and it's no such thing as a good loss. But I think for Denver, if you're gonna lose, this probably was the best time for them to lose, to have that wake up call as they get ready to go into the playoffs.
I understand that. And there are those wake up call losses that you mentioned, right? And the Patriots had one a couple of weeks ago against the Buffalo Bills, and you said that woke them up in a particular way. Well, what this does for the Jacksonville Jaguars is it catapults them. It gives them just that much more confidence to say that we can go into any building, whether it be at our house in Duval County or whether it be on the road, and we have a legitimate shot to win in January, which will give us that opportunity to represent our team and city and fan base in February in San Francisco at the Super Bowl. So the Jaguars got the biggest booster pill that an NFL victory can provide. This gives them all of the confidence in the world. And more importantly than the confidence, we are still one leg up against the Houston Texans in our own division. And it leaves the door open for us to get the number one overall seed if the Los Angeles Chargers come back and win the division, if the Denver Broncos lose a couple of more games, if the New England Patriots lose a game, if it's a whole lot of ifs, but in the NFL, we know ifs have life. We know in the NFL, if has oxygen. We know in the NFL that if money is put on it, there is always a chance. So don't put that out of the realm of possibility that the Jaguars are not fighting for something larger than just that dub. And whether or not Trevor Lawrence didn't perform up to the standard that we think he should be able to perform, the team is on the right track. Now, for the Denver Broncos, how do you take this L? It wakes you up. It lets you know that your home field is not completely guarded. It lets you know that you are beatable at Mile High. It lets you know that you cannot take any team lightly. It lets you know that you need to finish the regular season strong. You can't take any games off. You can't rest any starters over the next couple of weeks because there are 3 legitimate teams on your tail for the number one overall seed. The Patriots are there. We saw the Jaguars, they're right there. So Denver has to make sure that they play out the rest of their season in a way to where they're setting themselves up to be able to take that week off. The first weekend of the playoffs on the 15th of January and keep that number one seed. But I am looking forward to the next 2 games for both of these 2 teams because both of these 2 teams have to play teams within their division which will decide the division title because I believe the Denver Broncos end the season with the Los Angeles Chargers on their schedule. And that might be for the whole of kick and caboodle. Now, you talked about the wake-up call and having a good loss if there ever was one. This next game obviously did something to the New England Patriots last weekend when they lost to the Buffalo Bills. They played the desperate Baltimore Ravens this weekend that knew going into this game that this was a much-needed win for our division title hopes, for our playoff hopes, and for our sense of pride hopes. We all know what the game plan should have been, and it seemed to have worked for 3 quarters, but the Baltimore Ravens did what the Baltimore Ravens shall do in 2025, which is find a way to lose the game. Turnovers, both Flowers and King Henry had turnovers at key moments in the game. And then, of course, even though King Henry didn't even break a sweat and broke 100 yards and scored a couple of times, the coaching staff decided to do what they were going to do and not play him in the 4th quarter. Griff, I don't even want to talk about the game. Baltimore put a fork in them. They're done. We know what the New England Patriots are like. We know what they bring to the table. I want to talk about Jordan and his team. Heck, they're my team at this point. And how terrible of a coaching staff do you have to continue to display before your job is called for? John Harbaugh got on the podium after the game and in front of the entire world said, I am in no control of this team. He was asked a simple question. Why didn't you play Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter after he had so much offensive success? Because even though I wanted to put him in, that wasn't part of the game plan that we had decided on 12 days ago. We ever heard of in-game coaching adjustments? No, apparently not. Because if I was the head coach, I would have control of what plays are being called. But I'm not the head coach, John Harbaugh. I'm just there on the sideline looking confused. What is going on in Baltimore, and how soon will they get rid of John Harbaugh and the offensive coordinator, who is the real culprit behind this confusion and madness, and why this team is 7-8 instead of 10-5 or 10-6 or 11-4?
As I go, I think about this a little bit more. John Harbaugh is not going nowhere. The offensive coordinator will be parting ways with the offensive coordinator at the end of this season. This organization just happens to be one of them organizations that, just like Pittsburgh, they have a tendency to stick with their coaches a little bit longer. And so I don't see John Harbaugh going. I can say that he probably might be in a hot seat, but I don't see him going nowhere. And I can't believe, like you said, Drew, as a head coach, to be able to say, I don't know why he wasn't in the game. When you're talking about he had 18 carries, 128 yards, he was averaging 7.1 yards a carry.
Didn't
And
even
yes,
break
he
the
did
sweat.
have a fumble. But how often is King Henry fumbling? But I'm putting that ball in King Henry because they had the Patriots up against the ropes, man. They was able to shut the Patriots running game down. They looked pretty good on defense. I was actually shocked at how the defense was playing in the first three quarters. But again, Zay Flowers get that fumble at the end of the game. Dude came from behind and struck the ball or whatever, and that was completely it. And I just think when you got a guy that's averaging 7, if I can run the ball average 7.1 yards a bro, y'all will be mad at me because we running every play till they stop me. I'm just telling you.
Man,
There's no way Derrick Henry got less than 25 carries in the game. I'm sorry.
um,
Especially in the fourth quarter. With the fourth quarter where he is the most dangerous, where the defense is tied, where this is what he's known for, breaking stuff out and controlling the game. It's baffling.
it is baffling. And why do you have a game plan in place where you refuse to make adjustments? Are you incapable of making adjustments, Coach Harbaugh? Are you incapable of making in-game adjustments, Coach Monken? I mean, y'all are getting paid millions upon millions of dollars to make simple decisions in real time when people who are sitting on the couch millions of miles away are telling you, you're not running the right play. I can kind of predict that you're going to create a turnover or you're going to create a screen pass when you are 3rd and 15. Why are you throwing a screen pass? Why are you even calling a screen pass? Make it make sense. Are you intentionally trying to throw the game? Or are you intentionally trying to throw the season? Because it seems to me that you're wasting the talent that you have on the field. And the Baltimore Ravens have shown in 2025 they didn't want to win at all. Injury or non-injury. The way that this team was ran, you talk about loyalty. Loyalty can only go so far. And God, Coach Harbaugh has been the guy for 18 plus years. I'm not saying he deserves to be fired, but the way that the coaching was done this year, I would have that conversation. And I saw in the comments that Troy asked about the defensive coordinator. He's only been there 2 years. His defense has been hit and miss both years. The first half of the season, they were trash because he was still putting things in place. The second half of the season, they got a whole lot better. Same thing this year, and then the injury bug.
That defense dealing with a lot of injuries. It's got way more injuries on the defensive side of the ball than they do on the offensive side of the ball, too.
Yeah, man. So the offensive coordinator definitely should have been released already. And the head coach should come to a mutual agreement that the team and I are going to part ways at the end of the season if we don't want to call it a firing. But you openly admitting that you have no control of your fourth quarter strategy tells me that you're not in control of the team. Therefore, you need to go. That's just my 2 cents. Patriots gonna be all right. Ravens, y'all still got a shot some way, somehow, if the Steelers tank this next weekend. That's the only shot y'all got.
I know we got to move on to the next. It was the thing that got me was the plan was the other running back of being this many plays and Derek. I mean, like, man, wow, seriously. I thought we go with who got the high hand. That's what I thought. I mean, that's what they always say. Whoever got the high hand.
We learned this in Pop Warner football. Come on, man.
Well, the
I
plan
wanted
was
him to be in the game.
that
In
Derek was going to
hindsight,
do
I
this.
wanted him to be in the game because he's healthy. He just sat on the bench getting paid for a whole quarter when our season was on the line. But I, as the head coach, didn't have the ability. Okay, moving on. Ravens, y'all deserve what you got. The team that is actually fighting for the AFC North was a surprise to both of us because I didn't believe that Ron and the Steelers could have gone into the 3-1-3 to knock off a desperate Detroit Lions team that was fighting for their playoff life as well. Even with all of the antics that were happening on the sideline with DK Metcalf and him getting into it with fans. I'm like, what the world is he doing? The Detroit Lions didn't show up like we thought they were going to be able to show up and defend home field. How do we attribute this loss to the Lions? Even though the game ended in the most controversial way imaginable, where two offensive pass interference calls were made. One of them, the first one, was not OPI. I agree with the talking heads. It was not OPI. It was just a simple route where the defensive player actually hit the receiver, the slot receiver coming or the receiver crossing in. So what did you want him to do? The second one, hey, man, I think they were just looking for an excuse to give Detroit that L. What do you think, Griff?
No, that second was offensive pass interference, man. St. Brown didn't just go touch that dude. I mean, he shoved that guy, man. So them Detroit fans could be upset all they want to, but what they really need to kind of figure out, why is it they only have 15 yards rushing in this game?
I know.
15 yards rushing in this game.
No.
And then why is it they could not, of all teams, Pittsburgh, they couldn't stop Pittsburgh from running the ball? Warren had two long runs in this game, man.
It was one
That's
of
the
those
difference,
weekends, man. It was just one of those type of
bro.
weekends.
That's the difference, man. I mean, I always say, don't let it come down to them last. See, when you don't play your game and you let it come down and let the officials decide, that's what you get. What you get, like you say. But at the end of the day, man, with you got Jameer Gibbs and you have Montgomery over there, and all y'all was able to compile was 15 yards.
Surprise, surprise.
I mean, again, don't want to take nothing away from the Steelers defense. The Steelers defense did what they had to do, but that shocked the hell out of me to see that when I went back and looked at the stat line, they only had 15 yards rushing.
Hey, Tommy, I'm glad you said don't talk about the penalty. Don't talk about the penalty. I remember on Friday night, I said it with my whole daggone chest that the Pittsburgh Steelers, the terrible towels, were going into the 3-1-3 to take a fresh L burger. And I said that if y'all came back and won that game, I was going to come back on Tuesday and eat that crow. Well, I'm eating that crow. I am surprised that the Pittsburgh Steelers won that game. I congratulate y'all. More importantly, I congratulate Mike Tomlin on 19 consecutive winning season.
He said he's gonna figure a way. Say he was gonna figure a way, baby.
He gonna figure a way. Yeah, man. But I'm surprised as to how this game ended, obviously. I'm surprised as to the lack of run game that the Detroit Lion game or the Detroit Lions had. I am very surprised that the Pittsburgh Steelers were able to grit it out, especially on the run game, right? You would expect some level of passing success with the amount of injuries that the Detroit Lions have on the back four. with one of the best receivers in the National Football League and with one of the best quarterbacks throwing football ever, delivering the ball. So I knew that this was going to be some type of a wash as it pertains to these two teams passing the ball. But the difference maker was the refs and the lack of run game for Detroit. They lost this game. Pittsburgh didn't win this game, in my opinion. Much props to the Steeler Nation. Y'all are going to take control of this division. It's yours. All you have to do is win your next game, or if Baltimore loses their next game. But if Baltimore wins and y'all lose, then y'all are right back where you were last weekend. The division is on the line. Take care of business this weekend, and you can worry about resting your veteran players in the final week of the season because you're going to be locked into the fourth position regardless. The weekend coming up, this Christmas weekend, is where you win the division. Win this game, you can rest everybody in week 17. If not, y'all will be playing Baltimore for it all. And once again, some way, somehow, Baltimore will find their way into the playoffs through the back door because I don't think y'all will win that one. I don't know. I'm just thinking outside of my head. This game, bruh, we knew the 49ers were going to win. How surprised are you as to how gritty the 44-year-old Phillip Rivers is and how precise and pristine his awkward pass still gets to the target at this point in his elongated career?
It looked like he be pushing the ball, bro.
He sure do, man.
It looked like he just be pushing it. He can't throw the ball down the field, but them short passes be looking like he be pushing the ball, man. And again, because of his experience, he can get out there and at least manage a game, I guess. But I knew that that it's all down here ever since Danny Dimes got hurt. I mean, again, I commend Phillip Rivers for getting his 5 years of life insurance. I mean, health insurance back and getting these paychecks, man. But the Colts, you can stick a fork in them cats.
Yeah. They are done competitively as it pertains to being able to make it to the playoffs. But are they done playing the spoiler in these two remaining weeks? The Colts are still good enough to hang a fresh Elberg on anybody in the National Football League because we all know on any given Sunday anything is possible. So I wouldn't summarily dismiss the Colts being a major factor in who gets to the playoffs in the next 2 weeks within their own division and across the AFC because, they're going to be in there somewhere, somehow. I am surprised at how
Drew,
well Phillip Rivers is playing.
they got the Jaguars and they got the Colts. You see them winning them games.
The Jaguars, I don't know. Who was their last game of the season against?
They got the Jaguars and the Texans, I mean.
Ooh, man, those are the two best games to have close out your season. Hey, at a minimum, both of these two teams, the Jaguars and the Texans, going to have to earn that dub because the Colts are not going to roll over and play dead. Phillip Rivers is going to come at them. Again, I am surprised as to well he has played over these first 2 weeks in his return. And in what I can predict, if he is upright, pushing that ball from his shoulder, going to be able to have some success against the Jaguars and the Texans. Now, the Texans got a defense that can come at you, and they're going to come at after this old stationary. So we shall see.
They're gonna have the green light to tee off. They're just gonna be teeing off on them from. But let me. Harold asked this question. I'd love to get his answer to him. So he said, what happened to the defense? Well, I would tell you, man, I don't care how good a defense is, if the offense keep on going 3 and out and not able to sustain drives, defenses get tired. That's what happened in this game, man. I mean, Taylor, who has basically been the offense since Danny Dimes got hurt, only had 46 yards rushing in this game. So that in itself lets you know what was going to be the outcome in this game. So anytime an offense can't sustain drives, that no matter how good the defense is, they have a tendency to get tired.
Right, which leads you to say, well, why are they tired? We got to start giving, at least for myself, start giving credit to the San Francisco 49er offense and what Kyle Shanahan has put on the field, even with Brock Purdy and your guy, Matt Jones, flip-flopping throughout the season. And CMC being the primary focus, the primary weapon, but Kittle and Jennings, and that offensive passing ability that they possess actually having more of an impact that I was giving them credit for. We were hanging them being where they are based off of the success tied to CMC and how he is being utilized and the success that he is having and his continued health and the stability of the defense. They were winning a lot of close games early on in the season that has gotten them to this point in the year to where we are 2 games remaining in the season and the San Francisco 49ers, if they win out, they win the NFC West. They become the number 1 overall seed in the National Football Conference when we have not talking about them at all as being a legitimate threat. They go undefeated. These next 2 weeks, they win the NFC West because they end their season against the Seattle Seahawks. And
That's a good way to be under the radar screen, baby. While
the
everybody looking and paying
entire year,
attention to everything else.
after losing Warner, after losing Bosa, your 2 pillars on defense, your defense is middle of the road. Your offense is somewhat middle of the road. What is making the 49ers so good this year? Is it Kyle Shanahan, who should be considered as a coach of the year candidate legitimately, based off of what he has been able to accomplish with the limitations that he has endured as a coach? Him and John Lynch as, that Tom and Jerry or Robin Hood or Batman and Robin duo that they've been together with for the past 9 years? Is this the best job he's done in those 9 years with what he's been dealing with as a head coach?
I think, man, when you got the right people in place, and not just Shanahan, but then you got Robert Sala over there, who we know is a great defensive mind. Those guys buy into the program, as well as you got a GM in John Lynch, again, a former player, where the players that he believe in the team. Yeah, they can get through stuff like this, and plus being under the radar screen because basically everybody else had already counted them out, man. All the memes that was on social media showing how hurt they was and stuff, showing they players rolling up in wheelchairs and crutches and stuff. And while everybody was laughing and joking, they were solidly winning. They got Kittle back. CMC, who normally be hurt most of the time, he been there for the most. And then Mac Jones was a plus during the time when Purdy was hurt and Mac Jones came in and was able to keep their head above water. Yeah, hey man, this is what coaching do come into play, and this is one of them times, like you said, they could say, hey, you know what, based off what this guy had to work with, this is what I consider to be a coach of the year.
Yeah, no, that's a legitimate conversation to have. With Brandon Ayuk out for the year, hasn't smelled the field.
He got the check, baby. He got the check. Once they get the check, man, you know how they do.
And I saw a report of him kind of speeding by the stadium talking about no. But what this season has done for the 49ers is, one, shown that Coach Shanahan still has that juice, regardless of whether or not they win the NFC West. What they have endured as an organization where key skill position players have gone down, and they went down early in the year, that team was able to adjust fire. Their quarterback stability has been in flux the entire year. That team has stayed fast. That team has put itself in a position to where they can launch pad from the success they had in 2025 to have another mini 49er window. This season has made Mac Jones a quarterback that is going to be sought after next year by a team that is looking for a mid veteran quarterback. And I was talking about the Jets and what the Jets need to do. He should be the Jets quarterback next year, in my opinion. Don't go out there and draft no daggone quarterback that's in this year's class, because we've seen what's in this year's class, and none of them are eye-popping. None of them jump off the daggone paper. We saw how the Heisman presentation ended up unfolding, where someone who could possibly be considered a mid-level draftee won the Heisman. So this year is going to be a year where the San Francisco 49ers, when they unpack it, they're going to be like, yeah, we did a whole lot of things right. So let's continue to do X, Y, and Z and prepare for this in this capacity. And we're going to have another window where the 49ers are relevant again for the next 3 to 5 years. But we'll talk about them a little more, a little later. Now, everybody's favorite division to discuss, my division, the NFC South. We had two teams that are vying for the division lead coming into this game, 7-7. Both of them had hot spurts throughout the year. Both of them had a couple of periods of time where they regressed, not because of injury, but more because of play. The NFC South is somewhat perplexing to the point to where what you think is going to happen is not going to happen. Griff, this weekend showed that you have to play all 60 minutes of every single game. And surprise, surprise, the Carolina Panthers, even though we all were pulling for them, we all picked them to win, I was still surprised that they were actually able to pull it out. What are you more surprised about? The Carolina Panthers' success or how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have kind of crumbled?
Hey man, everybody know I'm a Bryce Young fan. I just want the kid to succeed because everybody continue to talk about how he shouldn't be there and all this other stuff. And I've been saying you get the right pieces in place and watch and see what happens. And in moments in this game, he showed why he should be a starting quarterback in the NFL. He was able to lead his team down there in spots, extend plays when it looked like he was got to score touchdowns. And that daggone Panthers defense. I would tell you on the other side with the Buccaneers, man, it just seemed like the offense dropped off. And I think even though they got Mike Evans back, it just seemed like something is not right with the way Baker was playing in the beginning of the season compared to how he's playing right now. It's just it's been a huge drop off, and with the inability to run the ball as well. I mean, the Buccaneers. I take that back. The Buccaneers actually had more yards rushing in this game than the Panthers did, but the Panthers still had a heavy, I'd say, a balance in his offense, and I'm happy when I see them Alabama boys get out there and do what they do, especially Bryce and all the heat that he took, and how all them Carolina Panther fans that I know that say, "Oh, we should have got CJ Stroud." Da da da. No, you got the better of the two quarterbacks. I don't care what you say. And
Boy, you were out there over your skis tonight on that one. I wouldn't say that he's a better quarterback, my guy. Podzi too, no.
they got the better quarterback.
Okay.
Man, Bryce Young is way better than CJ. You know what? And I'm gonna say this, and you can clock this one. The Texans would be unstoppable if they really had a true quarterback. I'm gonna leave it like that. You can say what you want with that defense. With that defense, they actually played better when CJ was out. I'm gonna leave it at that. Go back and look at the game. They struggled with the Raiders this weekend. Ask me why they struggled with the Raiders. They don't have no offense. With
Why
all
don't they
that
have an
defense they
offense,
got over
Griff?
there, they don't have no
Why
offense.
don't they have an offense, Griff?
Huh?
Why don't the Texans have an offense that can be competitive in 2025, according to Griff?
Well, again, because I mean the quarterback play.
Oh,
They
it's
don't
only
have.
one
I mean,
quarterback
running back.
play.
The quarterback. Hey, everybody like to say the Cowboys lose because of quarterback play. Why it can't be the same thing with this squad?
You know, Dak is a Pro Bowl quarterback in
No, you know
2025.
what? Dak get beat up all the time, and it's the Cowboys. Is everybody? Dak shouldn't have got all this money, even though again Dak they had an MVP type of season. Dak ain't on the other side of the field giving up 40 points, but they
Yo,
continue to say that. So
I do not, I do not.
you put Dak with the Texans, and you wouldn't consider them to be a going deep team with that defense that they got.
Dak,
CJ Stroud had a good first year. And tell me what has he done since then?
oh my God, I cannot believe you're doing this.
I am.
All right, first and foremost, CJ Stroud is a quarterback a dual threat quarterback that is still just like Bryce Young, just like Trevor Lawrence, just like Justin Herbert, just like a whole lot of young quarterbacks are still coming into their
You go
own.
collar. Now you go collar them again. You collar them.
I'm not
Go
calling
ahead.
it
Go
anybody,
work.
but what? How dare you? You have the audacity, the temerity, the unmitigated gall to sit here and say that what has he done since his rookie
Man, you using
year?
these big
He's
words
led
on
his
this.
team. He's led his team to multiple playoffs, and it seems like he's going to lead his team to another playoff appearance. I mean, he's been in the playoffs every year. He's been in
Drew,
the league.
Drew. All
Has
I'm
Dak,
saying is the
who has the
Texans look
number one
better.
offense, who is a Pro Bowl quarterback in 2025, and I have
The
never,
Texans.
ever taken anything away from Dak. Don't make that comparison, man. Why are we
I ain't
talking
said
about
you. I didn't say you. I'm talking about all the other pundits out there. But
all
what I'm
right,
trying to say is, go back and look at the Texans when CJ wasn't playing. They actually look like a better team if you
bro?
ask
That
me.
was 3 games where Davis Mills led that team to winnable games against winnable teams. He did not shine himself. I'm not knocking him, but the numbers weren't eye-popping on the offensive side during that 3-game win streak for the Texans. That defense, they played the Buffalo Bills, or I believe in that stretch where they sacked Josh 8 times. Come on, man. Stop it. Let's move on.
I
Week
say good.
16.
Hey,
In,
congratulations, Panthers. I don't want to take that because you know that's true of other team. Congratulations, Panthers.
that's
Y'all
right,
won.
baby. Week 16 in the books. Week 17 starts in 2 days.
No comment.
These 3 games, when the NFL schedule makers had their fingers crossed, based off of how 2024 ended, projected, hoped that these 3 next games were going to have a huge playoff impact in 2025 when we got to Christmas Day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, not one of these 3 games that is happening on Christmas Day has major playoff implications. And one of them does have playoff implications because it is the Broncos taking on the Chiefs. Broncos need that win to secure home field advantage. But the Cowboys and the Commanders on Thursday, 1 o'clock, Merry Christmas. It's going to be the early game. It's happening in Landover, Maryland. Griff, it does not matter. Do you care to pick?
No.
I don't care to pick either for the simple reason that I'm going to pick the Commanders, the home team, just to rub it into the Cowboys. The next
Well,
game.
since you did that, which you know they the worst team, I'm picking my Cowboys.
All right.
I was gonna be quiet on this
Hey,
segment, but you did
you
it.
are
You
just
did
like
it.
one of those people on the Titanic. You're going to go down with the ship with Jerry's World.
You're right.
The
You're
next
right.
game. The next game. The Lions, they lost their opportunity to make the playoffs last weekend when they lost to the Steelers at home in the 3-1-3. They are traveling to the Vikings to take on a divisional rival who was just as good as they were last year. If y'all remember, week 18 of the National Football League, it was the Detroit Lions sitting at 15-2, taking on the Minnesota Vikings sitting at 15-2 or 16-1 or something like that, where the division was on the line and the NFC number 1 seed was on the line. This year, nothing is on the line. Who you got?
Man, golly, man. Enjoy on here right now. It's his squad. I still got as bad as the Lions been playing, man. I still got to give it to the Lions in this game because of quarterback play by the Vikings.
I just to go on the opposite side, I think Skull Nation would do what they did to the Lions, what they did to the Cowboys. They did it to the Lions once, they'll do it to them again. Clean sweep in 2025. Go with the home team with the Vikings. The Broncos traveling to Arrowhead, which will be going away in 5 years, so I guess.
Turn them off. Turn the lights off.
Turn the lights off
Them
on
lights been turned
Arrowhead
off.
Stadium, where the Kansas City Chiefs will now be a dome team in 2031 on the other side of the state line, where Kansas City, Missouri is losing out. Kansas City, Kansas is gaining a new tenant in those Kansas City Chiefs. But that's 5 years down the road. This year, it's over. Y'all lost to the Titans last weekend. Bruh, who you got?
I
Do the
got the
Chiefs?
Broncos, man.
All
Chiefs
right,
is done, man. You can stick a
all right,
fork in
yeah,
them.
it's done. It's done. Let us move on, man, to what really counts in the game of football. When all the marbles are down, we have the introduction of the college football playoffs where we have 12-team expansion, and it is the top four teams, regardless of conference affiliation, for seeding. The first weekend of games happened this past weekend where you had the 4 through the 12 playing each other in whatever variation that they fell, where two of these games were not projected to be competitive. The Ole Miss game and the Oregon game, both hosting against teams from a mid-major conference, expected to blow them out. But the other two games where you had the ACC and the SEC being pitted against each other in one matchup and an SEC versus SEC smash repeat game in another matchup, you knew you would get more competitive game. Well, it started Friday night, boy. Friday night, Griff, boy, you was worried by the time we went off the air because the Alabama Crimson Tide was not looking very good and proficient in the first half, especially the first quarter plus. Well, after that 17-0 advantage that the Oklahoma Sooners had, a lot of people believed that they were going to be able to defend home field. Well, I tell you, boy, Coach DeBoer pulled a little rabbit out of his hat and went on a 34-7 run where the Alabama Crimson Tide said, don't you forget and don't you disrespect the A and that elephant on our chest. You proud of that going Ty Griff, or are you surprised that y'all actually came back and won that game? Which one is it? And I want you to be honest.
I'm a surprise. I was surprised, man. The way
I'm surprised.
the way we played the first half. I'm just gonna keep the way we played the first quarter because they had a 17-0, but we was able to come back and tie it by halftime. I was surprised on how we made adjustments on the second half because that's something that we have not done. The first half of that game, it looked like the Georgia Alabama game. We looked like we were scared out there. We looked intimidated. They came out there and hit us in the mouth. Second half of that game, our defense came out there and started hitting them in the mouth and did not give Matia time to do because Matia was just picking us apart in that first half. And it was like we were sitting up there just sitting back playing zone or whatever. That second half, we started putting heat on him. I'm again, I'm taking the win. I'm still kind of leery because in this game, OU actually put up more offensive numbers than Alabama did this time because we still refuse to run the ball. And I try to tell people this all the time. Every time you drop back to throw the ball, all they're gonna do is send everybody. You at least got to attempt to try to run the ball. In this game, we really did. We made a couple of run plays in the second half, but it took a true freshman with all that talent we got. It took a true freshman to show up in this game and to get the momentum going for Alabama. And I give a whole bunch of credit to the defensive coordinator and adjustments that he made in the second half.
You're absolutely correct as it pertains to the real time in-game adjustments that needed to be made and that were being made by your defensive coordinator, which slowed down the offensive effectiveness of material in that Oklahoma offense, which was keeping the ball out of Simpson's hands. But when Simpson had the ball in the first half, you were too busy trying to pass yourself down the field and not control the clock, which led to that early deficit. But I have to say that I am impressed as to how Alabama found the grit to come back. All right. This is the type of game where you don't take the technical preciseness of how we ran a play and the success associated with a play over the confidence that this game provided our team. We were down. We were defeated. Our own fans were beginning to question whether or not we could actually do this, and we still had that Alabama oomph. But the way that you found a way in an opponent's home stadium in a playoff game to come back and outscore that team, an SEC team, a nationally ranked team, 34-7, says more about your team than it says about the team that lost. Now, whether or not you can use that to springboard you into your next game, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But tip of the hat to the Tide, simply for the amount of grit that it took to come back and win a game where, for all intents purposes, people were going to say that you blew it. Coach DeBoer was going to possibly be considered for release after 2 years. That discussion was definitely going to be had. It may still be had, like we talked about Ryan Day last year needing to win the Natty to save his job. I'd say that Coach DeBoer needs to win this weekend to definitely secure his job and not lose, or not this weekend, but the next game they play on New Year's Day to Indiana in a terrible way. But we'll talk about that a little later in the show. This one, man, surprised me. Alabama or the Miami Hurricanes are a national powerhouse historically, right? They've taken a dip over the past 10, 15 years simply because of recruiting and athletes going elsewhere and coaching changes. But I did not believe that they still had what it took to go into an SEC stadium against a legitimate SEC powerhouse, at least in 2025, and not only shut down an offense that can hang 40 to 50 points on you, but control the clock, control the crowd, control 100,000 12th man fans, and still walk out of there with a dub, and you're moving on. And A&M's magical season, where they were riding so high, 11-0, number 3 ranked in the country. Many people, including myself, believing that they were the best team in the country. Then lost to Texas, and then you lose to a Miami team that I still believe Texas A&M was better than. How did Miami win this game, or was it that A&M just completely went away from what got them to the dance?
Well, first of all, I would say Miami won this game because of their defense. Their defense was able to do what was needed to be done in this game. They was able to get 3 turnovers. They was able to sack. They was able to sack Marcel 3 times. 7 times. They sacked Marcel Reed 7 times in this game. But when I went back and I looked at Texas A&M schedule, when you go back and look at Texas A&M schedule, even though they're in the SEC, they played the bottom feeders in the SEC. Just go back. They didn't play I'm just gonna say it like it is. And that might offend some people, but they did. They played when they played what we consider to be the top tier. They only played one top tier team in the SEC, and that was Texas. And Texas ended up beating them. Carson Beck, I told you he wasn't gonna be a factor in this game, and he wasn't. Texas A&M wasn't able to stop the run. That running back over there had 175 yards running for Miami. And that defense was all over Texas A&M. This was a defensive game, one that I said, man, I can't believe it. I didn't think it was going to be as low scoring as it was. I thought Texas A&M was going to try to be able to do something, especially being at home. But at the end of the day, I wasn't shocked either.
I got you, man. I congratulate Texas A&M, even though you said their schedule was somewhat soft within the conference.
You let me down today, man. You let me down today.
As compared,
go back and look at their schedule.
I'm gonna go do that. As compared to other teams in the conference,
no Georgia, no Alabama, no Georgia. Go back and look at their schedule, man.
All right.
I'm just saying. Arkansas.
You said they definitely
no
Mississippi State. They definitely play South Carolina.
They ain't play Ole Miss. They played South Carolina and should have lost that game.
Right. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So
they played the bottom feeders, man.
Texas A&M ain't earned that title yet. All right, we can move on.
No Oklahoma. They didn't play Oklahoma. They didn't play Alabama. They didn't play Georgia.
I know they beat the bejesus out of my LSU Tigers this year. So
hey, man, your LSU suck, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See who I'm gonna be just like Tommy and Carol. See who I pick in the next game. Nah, this next one, man. Tulane came into this game having played Ole Miss already this year, losing to Ole Miss by 35. Tulane came into this game as a big underdog. Tulane came into this game with their head coach already calling plays for another team next season, with one foot out of the door, heading over to take over the head coaching job at the Florida Gators. Tulane came into this game with nobody in the world expecting them to win other than themselves, their family members, and possibly half of their fans. And the other half of the fans, we're just looking for a good time and some representation in Oxford. This game ended and went exactly how people thought it would. What does Ole Miss take from this game heading in to their next game? And we'll talk about that a little later. That what you saw won't give you a concern on the sideline.
My problem is this, but they take in a healthy team because they knew that they was going. I mean, the same outcome that they went when they played this team the first time. I don't think it helped them out much, none, other than got a little practice because the team that they getting ready to go up against is a team that they struggle with, and that's them Georgia Bulldogs. Unfortunately, they got to play them daggone Georgia Bulldogs, and I think this is where the missing the lane is going to come into play in the next game. That's me. That's me personally. They didn't have, all the drama that was surrounding the team because Lane left. And keep in mind, Lane got $250,000 and he wasn't even there.
I know, right?
He got money from this game, man. But
Hey,
it was playing Tulane.
Won't he do it?
Hey, won't he do it, man? God is good all the time, and all the time God is good.
Yes, sir.
But I say all this game did for Ole Miss was give them another practice prior to playing Georgia. That was it. I wouldn't be excited. I wouldn't be happy from this win. They already blow this team out once this year and knew it was going to be the same outcome in this one.
Right. You're absolutely correct. What you want to do is be proficient, come out of the game healthy, but more importantly, give that interim coaching staff the opportunity to get that real game experience where we can make those real in-game adjustments based off of how we see our opponent playing. So, yeah, it ended like we thought it would. No big surprise, but I'm still super proud of the Tulane Green Wave in the season that they had, winning their conference and making it to the college football playoffs, putting their conference on the map, putting Tulane University on the map, putting NOLA back on the map, and their fan base. So, great year.
That's the only reason why I drew proud of them, because they from New Orleans.
That's right.
Get them jokers. Give them their participation trophy.
It's not a participation trophy. They made it to the playoffs. They got beat. Now they back at the hizzy, but they still got paid. All right, we can move on to the next game that was also a projected blowout and ended up being somewhat of a blowout. Well, actually, it truly was a blowout. It was like 41-3 at one point, or 41-13 at one point. But again, congratulations to the James Madison University team for representing their fan base in Virginia, representing their fan base or their conference, representing the entire football world. You got outplayed by a better team. What does this say for Oregon? It says nothing. It just says that we are on to the next game. We are where we are because of the season that we had, and we just can't implement new plays in this game against Texas Tech. Do you see how Coach Lanning coached this game affecting how he will approach the next game?
I don't think he shared none of it. I think he already got a game plan and a scheme that he planned on going against Texas Tech with, that he didn't show none of that in this game right here. And he didn't have to against this squad. Texas Tech got one of the top defenses in the nation. And I'm pretty sure, knowing Landon, he going that first, I guess the first part of the playbook is going to determine what that game is going to look like. But I don't think, again, like I was talking about with the Ole Miss Tulane game, I just think there was an opportunity to get some practice, get some other players an opportunity to play without getting any players hurt and coming out of this thing healthy to get ready to play in the quarterfinals.
So before we move on, actually, we can move on. You can close this one out, Jordan, and bring up the college football bracket. Harold asked the question: Notre Dame would have made it more interesting. Too long doesn't belong, which got my mind to thinking. It's not about conference affiliation or conference championship, right? The college football playoffs needs to do away with college conference championship rankings at all if we're going to do it that way. If we're going to expand it to 16 teams, which is being discussed, fine. You're going to mimic the MFL, fine. But how about you just get the 16 best teams in the country, regardless of conference affiliation, regardless of whether or not this person or this university wins their conference championship. The 16 best teams in the country at the end of the regular season. And that'll solve everything. That way, Notre Dame might have gotten in. Don't have to worry about it because they're not part of the conference. Or we can just leave it as it is and say, Notre Dame, you had 13 opportunities. You lost more games than you should have lost. You did it to yourself. But let us talk about what's next on the agenda. The college football playoff quarterfinals are 2 weeks away. They're happening on New Year's night and on New Year's Day. Griff, we talked about this a little earlier, and you know what popped into my head when we talked about Alabama's win and comeback win from Oklahoma last week was their next opponent is more Alabama than Alabama is Alabama in 2025. Indiana looks like the Alabama of the Nick Saban era where we are defensive minded. We have the type of offense that can light up the scoreboard, and we can have a approach that shuts down the opponent's offensive key weapons. Alabama is still trying to figure it out in 2025. We are still talking about what our identity is. Can we create a run game? Do we have what it takes to give Simpson both the amount of time and reliable receivers that are actually going to catch the ball to give this team the opportunity to win? You said it yourself 5 days ago. You don't see that dog in them. Can they find that dog? Can they go to the big dog in the Big Ten and stomp in the Big Ten's backyard and represent the SEC? Or is Alabama going to be able to go into a hostile territory against a legitimate undefeated team, the number one ranked team in the country, and shock the world? Because this will be an upset. I cannot believe we are saying this. This would be a major upset, not a slight upset. This would be a major upset for the Alabama Crimson Tide to go into Indiana and knock off the undefeated Big Ten champion, number one ranked Indiana Hoosiers. What can we do to make it happen, Griff?
Well, first things first. You was talking about the top 16 teams play. I think the top teams in the conference that this year got screwed too because they don't get a chance to play a home game. And I think that benefits Alabama by not having to play in Indiana. I think it helps Alabama out. I think of the two teams, we know who had the toughest schedule this year. Not taking anything away from Indiana, but I don't think Indiana then played the quality of teams that Alabama then played, which I think gives the edge to Alabama. And even though they might be an underdog in this game, I think going into this game, I think I'm gonna see a better Alabama team than I've seen in previous games because of the level of talent that they getting ready to play against.
Now, when I said Indiana, the home team, I'm just talking because of the season, right? Because we know that they're playing in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And traditionally, well, we know Alabama fans travel. Indiana, we haven't had any historical history.
They'll travel because this one of them once in a lifetime things. So they'll travel. I just think the way they have it set up, the first round of the playoffs, teams get a home game.
Mm-hmm.
I just think for the quarterfinals, those teams that had to bye, they should have the option or the luxury of having a home game. I know they got these traditional bowl games, but you know what? I think the days of the traditional bowl game need to be gone too. Because you already seen what happened to the kids that didn't make it into the playoffs. They school say, you know what, we're not even playing. So they
I
opting
understand.
out.
I understand.
That's what I was saying.
If the playoffs do continue to expand, then the traditional bowl games early on in the process, like happening this week and last week, will fall off by the wayside. But the big bowls that are happening on January 1st are the traditional bowls: the Cotton Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the four big bowls. And over the past 10, 15 years, you add in the Fiesta Bowl. Those are the bowls that control the big viewership on New Year's with the networks, and perfect opportunity to incorporate that into the college football playoff landscape, which just generates more money, which generates more money, which generates more money. But for Alabama to have a shot, they're going to have to come out of that. I don't even know what to call it, whether or not if it's a philosophy or an approach that Coach DeBoer has on offense here, especially over the past 2 calendar months, that we play to not lose. We play close to the vest. We don't open up this offense at all. I know that you need to have a run game to an established run game to protect your quarterback to have the ability to take those deep shots. But if we are ineffective as a running team, we can run by passing. We can run by passing.
I say that all the time. Run screen. I mean, the way those defenders is coming up field, screens. The middle of the field is wide open. But what Alabama keep on doing is they having Ty Simpson drop back and trying to throw the ball down the field. He don't have the time to do that. Like I said, they need to come out punching. The Alabama been on their heels the last the calendar months. Instead of being on your heels, you need to come out punching, and you need to take what the defense give you.
So we both acknowledge that Alabama's had the toughest schedule. Indiana has shown up when they've been presented the opportunity to shine. They shined on the national stage twice, one by outscoring a high-powered offensive type of team in Oregon, at Oregon, one against the defending national champion, number 1 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, and their defense is struggling in the Big Ten Conference Championship game. So they've won pretty, and they've won not so pretty. Can they do it?
The Penn State game. The Penn State game required a last minute catch too.
A last minute comeback. You're absolutely right. So they've won multiple ways. Can they do it in an environment where the national stage is upon us? We're going to have those game day jitters where we are projected to win it all, and we're going against a traditional powerhouse that has the same pedigree that we have because our coach has it. They have it in their system. Who you got in this game and why?
I still think it's going to be Alabama in this game. I roll with the Tide, man. I mean, I'm rolling with the Tide, and I just base it off of the level of competition that both of these two teams have played. I have more faith in Alabama, even though they have been on their heels the last 2 months. I think they're going to come out there and play some of their best ball in this game.
Yeah. Because Alabama has not shown that they are consistent over the past couple of months, that I have all kinds of doubts. But what I saw from Alabama and what it takes as it pertains to having the grit and the intestinal fortitude to come back from being confronted with not only obstacles but controversy in front of you, outscoring Oklahoma 34-7 in Oklahoma in the playoff environment because of our pedigree, because we understand what big plays need to happen. That is automatically going to keep Alabama in this game. This game is not going to be a one-sided game. This game is going to be close. This game is going to be back and forth, and it's going to break on turnovers. Not a turnover, but multiple turnovers. And one, if not two, key special team plays, whether or not Alabama get a kickoff return or punt return, and same for Indiana, and or a block punt or pick six. That is how this game is going to be decided. It's going to come down to a late key game decision by the coach of the team that has the ball that is going to dictate whether or not they make it on a fourth down to continue a drive or don't make it on a fourth down and lose that opportunity to go in and get that game-winning drive. What team does that? I believe. Oh, man, I'm not pulling for either team to win this game. But I think that Indiana, this is their year to at least make it to the college football finals. Not saying that they're going to win, but I think they do beat the Alabama Crimson Tide in a close game, whether it's mid-20s or low 30s. It's going to be an exciting game. But I just think that Indiana has the playmakers and the Heisman Trophy winner to lead his team to victory. But
Okay.
But
that Heisman Trophy winner with barely 2,000 yards passing. You talking about? Okay.
Hey, barely. Hey, we won though. He won. Nah,
he won.
He
beat Ohio State, man. He beat Ohio State the weekend before the voters had to get the votes in.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Ohio State, right? They take on the Miami Hurricanes, who beat a Texas A&M team that either didn't show up, got shut down, didn't have it, was affected by the wind, whatever excuse. Miami made it to the next level, and they are now playing the defending national champs and the Ohio State Buckeyes in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas on New Year's Day. How do you see this game unfolding? Does Ohio State have an offensive advantage? Does Carson Beck have what it takes to lead the Miami offense against a stingy Ohio State defense? What are you looking for to be the difference maker in this game, Griff?
I see two good defenses playing against each other. I don't see Miami being able to run the ball on Ohio State the way they did on Texas A&M. Ohio State defense is much better than Texas A&M defense when it comes to stopping the run. I don't think Carson Beck can be as well. He wasn't that daggone impressive in the game against Texas A&M, and I think it's still going to be that way. I like the offensive weapons that Ohio State has. I think with Jeremiah Smith and Tate over there and as well as Bo Jackson in that backfield, I think it'll be a game. But I think at the end of it, I truly believe Ohio State will end Miami's run in the playoffs. They made it here, even though a lot of teams didn't think they should have been here, but they proved that they should have by beating Texas A&M. But I think this is where the buck stops in this game right here against Ohio State.
I definitely understand you, man, and I feel you in that, and I understand that approach. I do not believe that this is going to be a defensive struggle type of game that we saw in the Texas A&M Miami game. I believe that both of these two offenses are going to have much more success that we saw in that previous game, and it is going to come down to where either one of these two quarterbacks, who are both trustworthy quarterbacks, both qualified quarterbacks, both experienced quarterbacks, both quarterbacks that you can say, I'm going to hang my hat on and say, you shall lead us to a late fourth quarter game-winning drive, because you've done it in the past. Saying just came from the Heisman Trophy stadium or stage, so we know that he can lead us to the promised land. Carson Beck, for all that we talk about not having confidence in him in the big game when it counts, Carson Beck has had a very, 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 very successful collegiate career. And both of these two teams have the ability to put points on the board. And if we recollect back to the early 2000s, the 99 and the 2000s, these two teams met a couple of times in the national championship game where you had a strong run game be the difference maker with Maurice Clarett leading the Ohio State Buckeyes to a title, and a shootout between two very effective offenses where Ohio State ended up winning, I believe, 35-31 in one of the Ohio national championships games in 2001 and 2003 or something like that. But I believe it's going to be the same type of result. I agree with you that Miami has had a phenomenal season. They've had their ebbs and their flows. Those two losses at the time that they took them really knocked them out of the national powerhouse conversation because of the teams that they lost to. They got into the playoffs. They won that first game. Ohio State simply is a better team. Should be ready to defend their title in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas on New Year's Day. So I agree with you. Ohio State wins this game. The next one, Griff. I'm looking forward to this game, my man. New Year's night, the last game of the night, last game of the evening between two SEC powerhouses. Both of these two teams ended the regular season 11-1. Georgia Bulldogs went on to win the SEC title. Ole Miss went on to win their first playoff game. Both of these two teams entered the season 12-1. Both of these two teams are legitimately good enough to win the national championship, in my opinion, if all things play out for them, because it's all about matchups. Both of them have the ability to put 30-plus points on the board. Ole Miss has the ability to hang 50 on you if you're not careful. But both have defenses that are legitimate defenses. We would normally look to the sideline and say that, well, two teams that are evenly matched will go with the coaching approach to see what the difference maker is going to be. Kirby Smart, a defensive-minded coach, a national championship coaching coach. We know where he stands. We don't know what Ole Miss has because Lane Kiffin is gone. He's no longer in Oxford. He is where he needs to be in Baton Rouge, preparing for 2026 LSU Tigers. Does Ole Miss have what it takes to go into New Orleans on New Year's night in the Sugar Bowl, the traditional SEC holiday championship game, and pull off a revenge slight upset against the Georgia Bulldogs team that is projected to be one of the better teams when it comes down to the Elite Eight?
Well, everybody done picked Georgia to beat Ole Miss. Ole Miss is going into this game with a chip on their shoulder. Everybody done counted them out because they coached and left and all that. But I'm one of the people that done counted them out. I'm just keeping it real. And here's the reason why I didn't count them out. It's because of who the head coach is right now. The head coach is they former defensive coordinator who used to be the defensive coordinator at the University of Alabama. It's no way in my eyes. I just can't see him even coming close to going back and forth with the other man on the other side of the field by the name of Kirby. If I had it my way, I'd give Kirby a call right now and say, hey, man, you got any thoughts about coming to Alabama? I just like the way Kirby, I like his mindset. Kirby is a true Nick Saban disciple when it comes to how he thinks. Those kids believe in the process. And Ole Miss is known for their scoring, but their defense has been lackluster all year. And I just think that it's gonna get in. They're gonna hold Chambliss. Chambliss ain't gonna be able to run around, and Kirby is gonna take away what's most valuable to them. And I think Georgia come out on top. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game, to be honest. And a low scoring game actually benefits Georgia and not Ole Miss.
You're absolutely right. It does benefit Georgia the lower the score that you have, which means the less possessions that you have. And we talked about coaching. We talked about how this game is going to impact the coaching approach, simply because of the experience Kirby Smart has and the lack of confidence that Griff has, who is obviously familiar with that defensive coordinator who used to be in Alabama, now at Ole Miss. This game is going to be tight. This game is not going to be a blowout. Harold mentioned that he don't believe this game is to be close. I got it. I understand. There is going to be a maybe 7 to 10 point drop off in the approach that Lane Kiffin takes with the current play caller that is going to be there that game. Georgia is the better team. Georgia has the better defense. They're going to be able to slow down on that offense and Chambliss, like you mentioned. Not completely shut down Ole Miss, but enough to the point to where Georgia is going to have to put up some points to outlast Ole Miss. Ole Miss is going to be in their hip pocket the entire game, keeping them upright, so to speak. Georgia wins this game, but Georgia does. It's not a 10 to 13 game, in my opinion. I believe this game is more of a 31 to 20 type of game. So we shall see. It's going to be an entertaining game. But
Defense,
yeah,
the Georgia defense is going to create some turnovers.
yeah, I agree. Now, the last game to talk about, man, is the Western shootout that is most likely to happen between two teams that know how to go up and down the field and two teams that know how to put points on the board. I am looking forward to this game. This is the afternoon game, the Orange Bowl, that is going to be played in Miami on New Year's Day. So you know the weather's going to be nice, or hopefully for them. What are you looking for from these two teams? Two of the hottest teams in the country. Oregon coming off of a huge blowout win against JMU in their opening of the playoffs. And Texas Tech, well rested, one of the most powerful offenses in the country, known for putting points on the board, known for opening the offense up. What are you looking for in this shootout between these two teams?
What I'm looking for is Texas Tech defense and their ability to shut down that Oregon fast-paced offense. Texas Tech, I know you talk about the the Raiders offense, but they defense is one of the top defenses in the league. I think they call them the Mustache Squad, them linebackers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see them be able to slow this Oregon offense down, and I think they have the ability to do it. And Oregon is always, they come from the West Coast, and they known for they nice uniforms and they fast paced offense. But I think at the end of the day, I think Texas Tech is going to be able to create some turnovers. I had the opportunity to watch that Texas Tech and BYU game, and I was like, wow, that's probably the first game of the season I actually watched them. And I was like, man, this team is solid on all levels. And so I think it's going to give Oregon some troubles. And I know we still got another week to go, but I think the Red Raiders are going to win this game.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning in that direction as well, man, for a variety of reasons, but more on the offensive side. Yeah, the Mustache Squad is going to have some success against the Oregon offense and be able to limit them somewhat. But the separation in this game is going to come from the offense and the amount of offensive success that the Raiders have. And it's going to be both quick strike and time consuming, where the game is going to be able to be managed from the Texas Tech head coaching staff, where we need to slow the clock down or we need to slow the pace down. We'll play ball control on offense. When we need to quick strike and see those opportunities to quick strike, we're going to do that. Be opportunistic on defense, put pressure on the Oregon offense, and as Griff said, don't matter what kind of cute uniforms that y'all show up in, the Texas Tech Red Raiders going to hang a fresh L burger on the Oregon Ducks, send them back to Eugene defeated, and move on to the semifinals, to the Final Four. But doesn't take away from the success of the Oregon Ducks. In my opinion, I agree with you. Texas Tech should win this game. Phenomenal show, Griff. Looking forward to some great football this upcoming weekend. We got 3 games on Thursday for Christmas, and then the NFL games this weekend. College football games, as we said. The playoff games kick off on the 31st, and then on the 1st, the next 3 games. College football bowl season is in full swing. If your team is in bowl, hopefully that they are doing well or actually going to show up and play. I know my team is in a bowl here next week, or this weekend, as a matter of fact, playing the.
What y'all playing in the spam? Y'all playing in the spam bowl?
We're playing in the Houston, Texas Bowl against the Houston Cougars.
The spam bowl.
The spam bowl.
The lemon head bowl.
That's all good.
Y'all playing in the Boston Baked Bean Bowl.
It's all good. It is what it is, because we went through some things this year. Had to clean house. Right, I'm happy that we did. So I'm happy that those kids are able to get to the Houston Bowl and enjoy themselves during this holiday season and to have a good game against the Houston Cougars and come back to Baton Rouge with a dub. Great show. 2 weeks left in the NFL season. We are upon the days of spirit come to the end of a calendar year where we have holiday season, regardless of type of holiday that you recognize, the faith that you practice. This is an opportunity where, if given a chance to spend some quality time with people that you have covenant with, whether they be friends, family, or those that are close to you, please ensure that you are taking advantage of that. And hopefully, for everybody in the Roundtable family, y'all are having a great holiday season. Griff, you got any closing comments for the Roundtable crew?
Just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Like Drew said, it's that time of the year, man. I'm here with my family in Alabama right now. And so I just look forward to seeing everybody back here on Friday and seeing what Santa Claus brought y'all for Christmas. Y'all be safe out there.
He said, well, Santa Claus bought y'all for Christmas. More importantly, what you bought yourself in your mind and your spirit. Yeah, football games on Thursday. They should be traditionally entertaining as we do around the holidays, but there's basketball happening at the very same time for those that have other interests. And as Griff said, man, enjoy the time with whoever that you are spending that time with, whether it be family, friends. For those of us who are unable to be with our close ones during this holiday season for whatever the reason, whether you are professionally unavailable to be there, personally unavailable to be there, financially unavailable to be there, distance-wise unavailable to be there, as long as you're connected with that person spiritually, you're good to go. Y'all be safe during this holiday season, first and foremost. As we all know here in America, people like to have a good time during the holiday season, which means sound and good judgment isn't always at the front of their mind. Like good safety brief, don't drink and drive. Make sure that you have a designated driver. If you are going to drink and you're going to places where you're not going to be within walking distance of your home or domicile, be safe, because people are out there being shisty, trying to take advantage of other folks. So keep your head on a swivel at all times and be nice to those around you. Take care of yourselves. We shall see y'all back here on Friday to recap Thursday night games and look forward to the games that we have this upcoming weekend and talk about more football. Y'all have a blessed week. Merry Christmas to you all. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and any other holiday that you may practice or recognize. We shall see y'all back here on Friday. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be brazy.
You were dreaming? You're actually in the middle of the workshop right now, sleeping. This is your first lesson in training.
This right here makes us strong. Let's understand who we are as a team. Let's understand who we are as men. We got the opportunity to keep going, man. Let's be strong as a team, man. Let's be who we are.